Good morning. Well, it ended the way we expected it to. The president was acquitted in the Senate of both articles of impeachment, and that was what everybody expected, including the Democrats who brought the charges in the first place and wasted all of our time and our taxpayer dollars to bring a case they knew they couldn't win. They just did it to embarrass the president, to disrespect the office, and maybe some of them actually believe what they were saying. But then we saw the State of the Union and we saw Nancy Pelosi. And she was so disrespectful to not only the president, but to the American people who elected her to work for us. She is supposed to be working for us, not for her party, not to put party before country and before the people who pay her salary. And I say this about all members of Congress, Republican and Democrat. Mitt Romney broke with his party. And I never liked Mitt Romney. I did a video years back when he was running for president, and I basically made fun of him. It was a spoof. And I don't like Mitt Romney. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't have voted for him. I did not vote for him. But at the end of the day, Mitt Romney taught us all a lesson on what a member of Congress is supposed to do, and that is to work for the people and to vote their conscience, to vote what they believe, to stand up for what they believe is right and not worry about the party. And look at these consequences now for Mitt Romney. The Republican Party is talking about kicking him out of the Republican Party simply because on one article of impeachment, he looked in his mirror and said, I need to vote guilty. And I respect him for that. I respect him for that just as I do not respect Nancy Pelosi. I lost all respect for her when she chose to rip up the president's speech on national television and throw it on the table like it was trash. I didn't appreciate that. And none of you, Republican or Democrat, should appreciate that, because what she did was say, I didn't get my way, I'm 5 years old, and I'm going to throw a temper tantrum in front of the American people at a place, the State of the Union, that is a place that is supposed to be about respect, whether you agree with the president or not. It is about respect. And as a member of Congress, we should expect that the people in Congress, that we pay their salaries, that they act like adults and not like 5-year-old children on a playground that didn't get to sit on the swing they wanted because someone got there first. They don't agree with the 2016 election. And to be honest with you, I didn't either. But I know that since then, my views have changed. And I have a right to change my mind because that's the American way. Now look, Mitt Romney's getting all kinds of blowback for voting guilty on one article because he said he has to look in his mirror in the morning. And now everybody in the Republican Party hates Mitt Romney. Man, is that how easy it is to get kicked out of your party? And what is it about party? This is why the American people are losers in all of this. We've been losers for many decades now. Because Republicans and Democrats cannot work together. It happened during the Obama administration, and it's happening now during the Trump administration. The Democrats have already said anything Trump wants to get done, not going to happen. We're not going to vote for anything he wants. Who does that hurt? It hurts us, the American people. I also would submit to you that all politicians, all of them, are crooks in some shape or form. They all lie. Okay, Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, kind of making the American people believe that Iraq attacked us on 9/11. Obama lied to us about Obamacare. Every American citizen will be able to get health insurance at the cost of their monthly cell phone bill. Well, I don't know what kind of cell phone Obama has, but my cell phone bill has never been $2,500 a month. Oh, and by the way, I don't have a cell phone that you can't use until you spend $7,500 out of pocket, because that's what my deductible went up to with Obamacare. So that was a lie. He lied to me. Now, some people, sure, some people who are able-bodied and mentally able, who refuse to get a job, they got the cheap health insurance. And my husband and I ended up having to pay more to subsidize it. That's the Democrat way. Take from us, the people who get up every morning and go to a job, and give to people who refuse to do the same. When Donald Trump at the State of the Union said 10 million Americans under my administration are now off welfare, the Democrats booed. How can you boo that? I was standing up. Yes. All right. All right. That's a good thing. But to the Democrats, it's a bad thing, because what the Democrats want, and I get in trouble when I talk about this, but this is really what they want. They want you to be dependent. They want you to stay poor. If you're poor, you should not want the Democrats, because all they want to do is coddle you. They want to keep you little babies that you have to run to the government for your food, for your cell phones, for your internet, for your TV, for your insurance. They don't want you to be able to take care of yourself, because they enjoy taking care of you. That's why Democrats are consistently raising our taxes, so that hardworking, tax-paying citizens, poor, middle class, and wealthy, are paying more in taxes, so that some members of our society can refuse to go out and support themselves, to live within their means, to live by a budget. Some, not all. There are many poor people in this country who are working very hard right now. And yes, there are businesses and employers who refuse to pay a true living wage. Shame on them. Our government needs to work on that. Instead of passing more welfare expansions and Medicaid expansions, the Democrats should be thinking about job training, daycare vouchers, so that women who have children, single mothers who use the excuse, I have a child, I can't afford daycare, can't use that excuse anymore to not go out and work to support the children they chose to give birth to and bring into this world, which is, at the end of the day, their responsibility, not mine, not any of yours, and it's not the government's responsibility. When you choose to have a child, you should go to work and support that child. And yes, there should be assistance. There should be help. There should be safety nets for that. Oh my God, what if? What if I get laid off? What if I lose my job? What if I become disabled? Of course we need government safety nets for that. But I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about the situation where there are people in our country that are 45 years old and have never had a full-time job, because they've been busy having children they can't afford and living off the government, and then saying I can't afford daycare, which is true, because daycare is too expensive. But instead of throwing more money at people to keep them down, to keep them unemployed, to keep them poor, and giving them all these benefits, these cell phones and the internet and the TV and the free housing and the free insurance, how about we show them, like the Bible says, give a man a fish and he'll keep coming back for more fish. Teach a man to fish and he will forever be able to eat. Or something like that. It's in the Bible. It is in the Bible that the disciples said when they walked into this one town, and they saw a bunch of able-bodied men laying around eating food that was provided to them by other members of the town that were out working their asses off all day. The disciples looked at those lazy men and said, you get up now, you go to work, because if you don't work, you don't eat. You're not going to expect your neighbors to be out there tilling the fields and fishing and providing you with food while you sit around doing nothing. That's in the Bible, folks. I didn't write it. The Bible wrote it. The Bible says it. But this issue now has become so virulent, this total hatred for the president by the Democrats in Congress, that it worries me to death that we are not going to get any bills passed that help all American citizens. Nothing is going to get done because they hate this president so much. And they put party above country and above the people who pay their salaries. Members of Congress don't have to worry if they get cancer. Like my cousin Nicole. They don't have to worry that they're going to lose their home or their savings when they get diagnosed with a bad illness, because they have great health insurance. They don't have to say, oh, we can't go on vacation this year because I can't get time off. They have plenty of time off. They get a lot of vacation days. Hell, they get the whole summer off. They get all these perks because they are elected members of Congress. And all they're supposed to do is work for us, we the people. And they can't do it. They're supposed to uphold the laws of our nation and pass legislation for the president to sign that benefits every single American citizen, not illegal aliens, like the president said in the State of the Union. They want illegal people to come to our country illegally and be able to get Medicaid, free health insurance. Wow. How insulting to hardworking people like myself and my husband who have always paid top dollar premiums for our health insurance, to my cousin Nicole, who is fighting stage 3 cancer. And she's seeing bills that are so outrageous. $26,000 to put a port in so they can give her chemo. Neulasta, a drug she needs to take after chemo, $4,500 per dose. And she needs 16 of those. $4,500 times 16. And insurance doesn't cover it all. And yet the Democrats want to give people who don't even belong in this country, they're criminals just by being here. They've committed a crime. They want them to get better health care than my cousin Nicole. How sad. How sad that is. Illegals are getting driver's licenses. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't know you could get a driver's license if you can't speak or read English, because most of our signs in America, our traffic signs and everything, are in English. That's a little terrifying, right? If you're going on the road today. President Trump wants to stop that. That's a good thing. Now, I said earlier, most politicians are crooks. We do know that Joe Biden did not act appropriately. He did a quid pro quo with Ukraine when they were investigating his son, and they said, he said, you better fire that prosecutor because that's my baby boy. Yeah, he's 22 and he's making $1 million a year at a job he has no experience for, but you leave him alone. And they did. They did. And Joe Biden bragged about it. He bragged about it. I got that bastard fired. Not going to mess with my boy. And I'm glad that I know that. I'm glad that I do. Because I liked Joe Biden when he first announced for president. I'm not going to vote for him now, and not just because of that. It's because I have decided that since all politicians lie, including Donald Trump, he lies. I get it. But with Donald Trump and also with the Republicans and what's going on in my own state of Pennsylvania right now, since we have a Democratic mayor and a Democrat governor, we're seeing our state taxes go up, up, up. Real estate, school taxes up, up, up. Why? Well, because those of us who work hard and who have become, according to our government, successful enough, we owe people who refuse to work at all a living. We owe them a nice house like we have. So they're taking our money and giving it to people who at 30, 40 years old have never had a full-time job. Not because they're disabled, but because they just don't want to work. They don't want one. It's so much easier to be on welfare. And part of that is because employers don't pay a true living wage and employers are refusing to give affordable health insurance to their employees. That's wrong. That's something we need to work on together, both Republicans and Democrats. We need to force the rich CEOs of businesses who are trying to get away with paying minimum wage to their employees with no health benefits available to employees or not affordable benefits. We need to bring them in and say, hey, we're going to give you corporate tax incentives if you provide a real living wage and health insurance for your employees. We'll lower your corporate taxes. That's an awesome idea. Has nobody else thought of it? Because big business people like saving money. They don't like paying corporate taxes. So lower their corporate taxes as long as their employees are making enough money to support their families and to provide health insurance for their families, which at the end of the day, I don't know why this gets so much criticism when I say it. Your family, your children are not my responsibility. They're yours. And you should feel proud when you go out to work and bring home a paycheck and bring home the groceries you paid for with the money you worked to earn to feed your children. Plus, you're setting a great example for those children. And I'm sorry, you can criticize me all day, but I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong at all. So at the end of the day, all of the government officials, all the politicians are going to lie to me. But in November, and every time I vote from here on out, I am going to start voting for the candidate that will actually do something to improve my life, my village. I've told you before, the only village I am a member of is my family. My husband, me, and our dog, Savannah Rose. That's my village. So when a candidate says, I am going to lower your taxes, Mrs. Luciano, I'm going to make your health care more affordable. That's the candidate I'm going to vote for. I'm going to make sure, Mrs. Luciano, that you and your husband will be able to afford to retire at age 65. That's the candidate I'm going to vote for. I'm going to make sure, Mrs. Luciano, that when your husband gets up every morning and goes to a job that he's not in love with, but he does it because he would prefer to have his own business again. But we couldn't afford that because the taxes were so high and the health insurance premiums were so high. That when your husband gets up every day and goes to that job and your neighbors wave goodbye to him as they sit playing their free Candy Crush, they're no longer going to be able to do that because I'm going to make them go to work part-time or get job training if your tax dollars are supporting them in any way. I'm voting for that candidate. Because too many people in our country claim that they can't get a job. We dropped out of high school because we were pregnant. Our parents couldn't afford college. Well, we're going to take care of that. I think that's an awesome idea. We're going to get you job training. You might not love the job you're being trained for, but you're going to be able to get off the welfare and support your family, which is your job. The most important job you have is to support your children. So we're going to help you do that. My taxes go to do that. I'd be happy to pay those taxes. But I'm a little tired of paying taxes so that my husband goes out to work and our neighbor gets to stay home all day playing the Candy Crush that we paid for, on the cell phone that we paid for, watching the TV that we paid for. I don't think anybody back when welfare was first established ever assumed that it would go this far. Welfare used to be food, a stipend to help pay for rent. It didn't pay for free cable and free internet and free computers and free phones. It never was supposed to do that, but it does now. And it's getting a little bit ridiculous. And I will say this, if you like the way that I live, and believe me, I'm no millionaire, but you want to live like I do, then do what we did. Work 2 jobs. We both worked 2 jobs, so we were getting income from 4 jobs. And go to the bookstore, like my husband did. Buy a book on coding and web development. And then start your own business, like my husband did. He's very well respected in the web development world. He gets job offers every day from all over this country, by the way, from recruiters trying to get him to come work for them. My husband did not graduate college, high school graduate, and he gets job offers every day. So think about it. Think about it. Wanting to live like we live is not something that you should ask the government to make possible for you. You need to make it possible for yourself. And if we can do it, you can do it. I have faith in you. It's hard being poor, I know, I remember. I remember going to bed scared all the time. What if we get sick? What if we have an accident? What if we become disabled and can't work? I remember that feeling. It's not fun. I remember having $40 a week for groceries. That's not fun. And I also remember hard work, and I remember how proud we were when I no longer had to have a full-time job. My husband was able to support us with his own salary. I remember how awesome that was. What a great feeling it was because we did it for ourselves. Now we need our Congress to step up, to put us before their party. Donkeys and elephants don't mean a damn thing to me. But we need to start insisting that our elected officials start working for each and every one of us, not just some of us, and not just for their own party. And to start acting like adults instead of petulant 5-year-old children. Political Paula is out.